Hello and welcome to another audio analysis. In today's video we're delving into the track Hurts Like Hell, a collaboration between Hands Like Houses and Normandy. This is the first track that Normandy have released following on from their recent album Dopamine, which was an absolute blast to check out. The idea of the dopamine clinic and the world they built and the atmosphere around the album. And Phillip Strand, frontman, was also very gracious in providing me with an interview where we took a deep dive into the album. So if you would like to check that out or see more Normandy content, which I have covered in the past, the links can be found in the description of this video and you can check those out following this one. And on the other side of the coin we have the Australian band Hands Like Houses, who've been rebuilding up after they did replace their longtime vocalist with Josh Raven, who's been really making an impact in the band. It took me a little more while to get on board with them because I've been listening to their music for such a long time, and that change in vocalist can sometimes take a little time to warm up to, but I've been really enjoying some of the tracks they have been releasing over recent times, and I do believe that it may actually be culminating in an album titled Atmospherics, which is potentially due sometime in 2025. So will this latest collaboration between the two bands hurt like hell or sound like the voice of an angel? Let's take a look at exactly how it sounds. Okay, there's already a few things I'm really loving about this track. First of all, I want to touch on the drumming from Anton from Normandy. It really gives off this very Babylon sound and vibe to it for one of the tracks from their previous albums in the form of Dark and Beautiful Secrets. It really has that similar melody. I can almost imagine the characters running through the rooms on that music video. It really kind of sticks to that style as opposed to more of the Dopamine style that we did see. And I really like the way it brings it in, that really strong rhythm just bouncing in the background to really add the beautiful pace to also being able to provide Josh and Phillip both with these abilities just to saunter through these vocals, because they both have these really soft vocals, was maybe slightly harsher from Josh, but they really love to ride these waves with these longer held notes and these kind of playful wisps that they like to throw into their music, so really allowing that to come through very strongly. And straight away from this track we really see this idea of Hurts Like Hell, the idea of almost being with somebody who's very toxic for you, but you're drawn to them. It's almost like the snake in the Jungle Book with Mowgli, just being drawn in, hypnotized to the point where you're just kind of being sucked in to this thing that is very bad for you, but you can't really let it go. A bit like an addiction, a love addiction to somebody who is ultimately a toxic partner. And we see that even just in the pre-chorus. I'm drinking the poison, we're playing a losing game, picking a battle with the butterflies, I'm bleeding out on the carpet. So we can really see these ideas of the butterflies in the stomach. You have the feelings for somebody, but ultimately they're the one that's kind of murdering you. They're leaving you to bleed out in the carpet. They're leaving you in this point of pain. I'm giving into the feeling like a passenger in my head headed for demise. So you, again, you're you're almost on autopilot, being led down this valley of destruction or this path of destruction, but you allow yourself to do that. Now you've got me drowning in your ocean eyes. I love some of the descriptiveness we're really getting going through this track, just in those opening verses. Just that idea of just being, again, drawn into the eyes, just being led astray. Typically, if you make eye contact with someone, that's that first kind of thing that really lulls you in, that really draws you in. And even in that refrain, 3 words and I'm in this forever, forevermore. So while it doesn't specify what those 3 words are, it's probably the 3 words I love you, and how that can draw somebody in and make them feel like this person really has this affection for somebody else, when ultimately they can just be hollow words, when it hurts like hell, but it feels like heaven to touch. So you have this person in your life that looks like an angel, but ultimately is the devil in disguise. So really playing on these opposites, and I really like that, the idea of the heaven and hell really being brought in with every whisper and every choking word. They're keeping me crawling to you every time. So almost like the angel and the devil on your shoulder, things like that. I love that use of they're keeping me crawling to you. So it's almost like, say, these voices in your head, something like that. It doesn't really specify what they are, but it could be other people, outside influences that are keeping you in this relationship, or just, like I say, the voices in your mind. I'm burning up from the fever, but I can't get you out of my veins. I really love that, the idea of just burning up from the inside. You know that this thing is so damaging for you, but you simply cannot get away from it. And I think it's just so fantastic the way they're making use of these opposites to really show how this toxic thing is just, like I say, it's like an addiction. It's this thing that really is toxic for you, but ultimately keeps pulling you back and making you want more. What a really interesting track that was. I really love the way that you had Josh and Phillip really working in tandem. It did feel very much like a collaboration between the two rather than a feature, and I love the way they had their own segments but also bounced together at certain times to really boost the power, especially in those moments where it maybe needed it, and also just allowing them sometimes to switch between the choruses and things like that. I think it was only the breakdown where they really came together for that ultimate blast of energy, dipping into something slightly heavier but not overpowering, so I really enjoyed that. And there's some more of the lyrics that I really did enjoy. See the irony, you're the venom and the only medicine. So you can really see how it's kind of putting this idea in somebody's head. There's the person that's being kind of intoxicated. They know themselves that they're stuck in this kind of phantom state between the two, between wanting to get out and being suckered in. You're the venom and the only medicine. So ultimately, you're the thing that's hurting me, but I feel you're the only thing that can fix it. And it's something we do see in a lot of relationships. People staying in relationships, friendships, because they feel like there's no better option on the other side, or they're just so immersed by this person, or they're led astray by their words, by their actions and things like that. So I think it's a really playful song in the way that really incorporates that idea, but also not providing too many specifics. It really kind of allows you to draw conclusions so that you've got to kind of realize when you're in that state yourself. And we also see that within the bridge as well. You put a knife in my heart and I'm loving you more, which is a great metaphor. The idea, if you got stabbed by somebody, you're probably thinking, well, this person doesn't really like me, but again, that sheer spell that they're almost putting you under is just drawing you in. Blood on my hands and I can't get enough. The fact that even though you can see it so very easily in front of your own hands, in front of your own eyes, like I say, you know the signs are there, but you continue to ignore them. And I think it's great the way they include that, just again in the bridge, to really add that power and really show that things can escalate as well. We start off with just the odd words that might be different, but then as we get into the bridge, we see that it starts resulting in things like violence and things like that, and how this toxicity can escalate. And I really love the way they use the bridge to really emphasize that idea and show that escalation throughout the track of how this person over time just kind of allow themselves to kind of be dealt more heavier and heavier blows until the point where ultimately it can result in something very serious happening. So really a great track in the way it escalates. I love the collaboration between the two. Now it's great to see two bands coming together and really working in tandem with one another in such an efficient way. I love the melodies and the way they bounce off each other vocally, and I also really love that Babylon-esque sound that we do have coming from certainly Anton and Håkan, just to really provide that kind of vibey flow that we do have that allows Phillip and Josh the kind of playfulness to really play around on this very easygoing melody. So there we have it, a very interesting offering from Hands Like Houses and Normandy. I do love collaboration sometimes. It's just great to see how two bands can certainly intertwine, and I think they both really contribute to this in a very strong way. And again, just a very bouncy track that I think really just adds a strong repertoire. I don't think this song would have fit on the actual Dopamine album. I think they went with a different style, but certainly, like I say, kind of linking back to Babylon, certainly going and switching back to that sound. I think this is great as a kind of solo release. It may feature on Hands Like Houses' upcoming album Atmospherics next year, maybe actually feature on that, with them kind of being one of the other artists that does feature within. But definitely a very interesting track, and certainly one that really just has that strong earworm that certainly gets stuck in your head. So that's everything for today's video, but I would love to know your thoughts about this track in the comments section below. Do you too feel that it really has that Babylon vibe to it, or how do you feel it lives up to some of the other tracks in Normandie's discography, or Hands Like Houses, whether you're a fan of either band, and did you really enjoy this collaboration? Feel free to let me know your thoughts. And as I said previously, if you would like to see more Normandie content, I've covered a lot of their other tracks in separate videos, which you can find a link to in the description of this one. And if you'd like to see more content like this overall, then please do feel free to subscribe, and I will see you in the next audio analysis.